But welcome everybody. We are so excited to just kind of kick off. And as we are, especially like it's really been hitting me lately that we are closing out a decade. Like that's pretty profound when you consider it. And it has had me kind of stopping in my tracks of how that's happened in the past. And it was like one of those like, ugh, I do not want a repeat of what has happened in this last year or this last decade. And for us, I've been coaching 6 years now, and this has just been the vehicle to change everything for us, like our health, our finances, our relationships, just how we show up in the world and the people that we're becoming. And so it makes me always pause and think who else out there is even kind of having some of those same thoughts of like, I don't want a repeat of this past decade. And how much we just get to offer that opportunity to give them a vehicle to change their future as well. And so I always try to start with the end in mind. So as you're even thinking of how we're closing out December and ending it really well and ending it really strong and ending it with intention and just congruency, I think, and like the actions are following what you say you want. And then thinking forward to this next year, but also the next decade, like what do you want to create? What do you want to put into motion? And who do you want to be? As that's even going to close out. But we're really excited to just kind of kick off this group here. We want it to be a space where we all get together and we just know we have a place where we belong, where we get to connect, where I love like the leadership call and some of those other, bigger calls, but you can still be a little bit anonymous. And I love this because we get to see your faces. We get to know what's going on in your life. We want to know, how are you learning? How are you growing? And hopefully we can also continue to equip you guys with everything that we have learned through the years, through some trial and error and some just from other amazing leaders, to equip you to also put you in that driver's seat to change your future as well. And so our vision for this is, like I said, we're going to do it on Tuesday nights. We're going to have obviously our official kind of launch for this in January, because our next Tuesdays, it's like Christmas time and then New Year's.
See you Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. We should do that.
We do love all of you that much but we figured schedules would not necessarily allot for that. So we'll have this one kind of our end for the year. But then we'll kick off again in the new year. And so we're just excited for that. We want it to always be, obviously we do have the Monday night leadership call and equipping you for success. Hopefully you saw that, got to catch it from last night. We always want to do like kind of a 1 minute, maybe recap of like some highlights. So I always do share those to the team page so you can find them in there. Last night, Tracy Scarce did a great job on kind of even the same topic along the lines, but everybody brings their unique personality to it, their voice to it. And so that's why I've always loved listening to a bunch of different leaders and a bunch of different trainers, because it's helped me find my voice and it's helped me find what feels most authentic to me. And so I would always recommend watching those as well, but we will give, usually like a 1 minute tip on what was shared. I love Tracy's. She just was really focused on kind of the mindset management. And if you are not having fun, you're not doing this right. And that's always been something that I have said too, that coaching should always be fun. It should be something that enhances your life and brings joy to your life. And if it's not, then there is something out of whack. And so lean into your mentorship to change that and to figure out, like, to troubleshoot what's off. And so I would go back and watch that. And then to cue you up for letting your clients know, and even for yourselves, the Wednesday night call is tomorrow. It's going to be by Patty Glick. She's a great friend of ours, incredible nurse practitioner. So definitely highlight that for all your clients to jump on. It's going to be about improving the quality of your sleep and then increasing your energy management. And then obviously directly after that, there's always the transformation stories to share. And so that's something that I've really always tried to point and guide my clients to really engage in that, because that's where they're going to be starting to build their community through this, meeting people, learning tips that will help them on their lifelong journey, not just the weight loss element of this. So again, we're excited to just kind of plug you guys all in because I know when I first got started, it was like, there's so many different things. I don't know what to prioritize. So we're hoping that this is just going to kind of simplify that process, and we'll always be able to point you so you know what area are you wanting to grow, what are you wanting to learn, and then how to guide your clients to some of those resources as well. So the Wednesday night call, the link for it is always shared again in our client support page, so you can find that. And then we'll always be posting those recordings too. In the file section, there's a link that your clients can find for it too. And then we're going to also, something I think that would be really fun in this group is each week we're going to have a different coach kind of share a recent victory and a challenge and how they're overcoming it. So this week, Vanessa, do you mind kind of popping off mute and just sharing real quick what has been a recent victory and a recent challenge that you are and how you're overcoming it?
Aloha, everyone. Thank you, friend, for letting me share. Yeah, I'd love to just share a victory and in my challenge. So today I was just thinking about it, and I just want to liken it to like a Christmas carol, right? And sometimes, it's Christmas. I love Christmas time. This is my favorite holiday. And so I was totally just thinking about how sometimes in life there are Scrooges, right, in our life. And they're mean, they're miserable, they're lonely. And so for some of you, it might be your aunt, uncle, coworker, friend. For me, it was a friend for sure. And that friend was totally, just a few weeks ago, just had some negative things to say about what I'm doing. And that really hurt, I'm going to be honest. It was not fun to hear those comments. But then I just thought, to be grateful, like Bob Cratchit, right? In the midst of the opposition, just to remember the gifts that we have through coaching. And that's really what I had to remember in that time. And I was just reminded really of those gifts. And I was just thinking about like a friend that I did a health assessment with last year, and super excited that she started program. And so that's a huge victory, I feel like, even in the midst of that trial. And then even the texts and the messages that I receive on a weekly basis, guys, that we get because we're coaching. And I just think too, like, she did, these naysayers, these Scrooges did not pay my bills and did not help me, pay off my car this year. So just thinking about all the great gifts that we have. And I just also wanted to encourage you guys to lean into your mentorship, just like Megan was saying, because they will speak into your life, and kind of like the ghost of Christmas past, present, and future. They've already been there and probably have struggled the same way that you have, and kind of maybe in the present moment can see what you can't see. And then in the future can definitely see some of those things in the future that you might be going through, and help you not to go in the wrong way. So I just want to encourage you guys, lean into your mentorship, receive their advice, and just listen to what they have to say, and then apply it to your life. So I just want to say that, friends, our mission is so much bigger than the Scrooges in your life. So I hope you guys are encouraged by that, because there's a lot of little Timmys or big Tims that we can help change the lives of. And so if you guys are willing to change and to just lean in and remember those things, and find victory in those challenges, I think it can be done. So
that's awesome.
Thanks,
Vanessa. I love that. Yeah, after Vanessa told me that, I sent her even the link to Dare to Lead. I don't know if you've listened to that book, but I love something that Brene Brown shared in there of like, really, like, you have to sometimes listen to who are the voices that you're going to let speak into your life even. And there's some where it's like you need like a 1 inch by 1 inch of like, these are the people that really know me, that have my best interest at heart, that know my intentions and what I'm going after and why I'm going after it. And so these are the people that I will allow speak into my life. And then a lot of the other people, it's like, nope, they're just in the crowd. They have the cheap seats that want to just, rant and rave, and they don't have the speaking life element to them necessarily. So that was something that helped me, definitely, because there's sometimes you get some naysayers that don't really get you and don't really get your heart. But Vanessa, I love, because it's something that when you can embrace and lean into some of those, I love the victory side of things, because we all obviously want to celebrate our victories, but sometimes when you lean into those challenges, I always ask myself, like, what's the hidden treasure here? Because there's another phrase that it's like the cave that you're afraid to walk in usually has the treasure that you're seeking. And so the more you can start to lean into those, there's some element, there's some life lesson that will be applied not only to your coaching practice, but just to how you engage in life in general. And so that's something that has, again, been so helpful to me. I'm going to pass it over to Amy too, and she's just going to kind of she's got great wisdom, been an incredible coaching partner. I love her to death. And so Amy, you want to take it away too?
Yes. Yeah. I just wrote that quote down. Sometimes it's like the little nuggets. I don't know if anyone, and I have my dog here. We're hanging out with the cone and the mattress behind me. So coaching life, right? It's just like come as you are. Um, but I find for me that like those little tiny bits of nuggets will open up your mindset in just the smallest way. And that will create this amazing domino effect that can result in massive growth. And so I'm always grabbing hold of what are those little nuggets. And December is a very interesting season because December is incredibly busy, more busy than any other month in the year. Feel free to write in the chat if you are like me and you're like, how do I have 4 birthday parties on one day? The entire weekend of the entire month. But yet in the busyness, someone's sharing their screen. Kristen, you can, oh, there we go, we're good. But yet in the busyness of it, it's also a time of reflection. And then it's also a time of kind of casting some vision forward. So it's like this interesting month where naturally we just want to pause, but yet we're running like our chicken with the head cut off kind of a thing. And so I wanted to take tonight as an opportunity to just kind of push the pause button, you know, congratulate yourself if you made it on here because you already just rocked it. And I want to go through a couple questions just to think about in terms of reflecting. You know, you might be new to coaching. You might be a coach for several years, like Megan or myself. But this pertains to all of us, no matter if it's in your business or your health or your relationships. We all have something in life that we're wanting to grow towards. So kind of in reflection of the year, what are you proud of? What are some of your wins? What are some of your victories? What went well? What did you learn? I love this question of what did I learn, because I'm someone that I just found if I'm not moving forward, then I'm going backwards, and I don't want to be stagnant. I want to always be growing in who I am as a leader and a person and a mother and a wife. And so that means I have to have that open mindset of, okay, what am I learning? And then here's some other questions that has actually been really challenging me to think about. What was a goal or a target for this year that I wanted, but I'm probably not going to reach? How clear was I on what it would take to physically reach this, emotionally reach it, and mentally reach it? Sometimes it's easy to say like, hey, I want to, you know, make $5,000 this year per month. But maybe, you know what I mean, right? Sometimes we make these big goals, but then we're not super clear about it. And so it's just really important to assess all of these things. In retrospect, how willing were you to do what it was going to take to get there? What were some of the things you allowed to stand in your way? You know, a lot of times with our clients, right, they want to, you know, lose X amount of weight, but they let the excuses take shape. They, instead of being that driver, right? And so I think it's the same in all areas. I could want a strong relationship with my kids, but I could also at the same time be constantly on my phone. And so I'm allowing obstacles, I'm allowing these things. And then another question, while you're reflecting, what are you going to leave in 2019? And what are you going to take into 2020? I think these are some really good, just kind of overall reflecting questions to think about. And again, like bring it into all of the areas of your life, not just coaching, but it could be your health, your relationships, your finances, all of those kind of things. And as you are reflecting, I want to encourage you to just be curious. I think that there's value in just curiosity. It's like kids are curious, right? They have that natural curious mindset. But sometimes as adults, we can become really fixed. We can become hardened. And so instead of looking back on the year and feeling like, oh my gosh, I did set this goal for myself and I'm not going to reach it, I'm a failure. Don't go to that condemning place. Go to the place of curiosity. Well, you know what? I wonder why that happened. And really go deep and really use it as an opportunity to reflect and assess. Use it as an opportunity to learn more about yourself and your habits and your tendencies and your thinking, because we all have unhealthy habits of thinking. And it's interesting that so many of my obstacles I had when I did the 5-in-1 came up when I started coaching, and I was like, dang it, what is going on here? But I find that, for me, coaching can be that magnifier, and there can be obstacles, but it's also such a beautiful opportunity to lean in and to grow. And coaching is one of those things something that you get to do, and then you get to do it better. There's no failure in this. It's just help people, and then, hey, learn from it, and then let's help you do it better. Let's help you evolve and grow. And so as you're leaning in, as you're reflecting, as you're asking yourselves these questions, then you can really start to apply this as you're moving forward into the next year. Because what is that saying? It's like insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. The last thing you want is to be a broken record of just having that constant New Year's resolution. We don't want that for any of us. And so we have to assess, figure out, where am I at? What did I do great at this year? What's an area that I want to grow in? And then start thinking about, okay, 2020. And it can be really easy when we start to project forward and dream forward to kind of dream based on how we're feeling. Are we dream based on our lack? Are we dream based on our insecurities or our struggles? But what I encourage you to do is to dream based on a place of an abundance. Dream based on, what would bless you? What would bring hope to you? What do you need? What does abundance look like for you? Really casting some vision for yourself. Because I have seen this opportunity for coaching be a game changer for people who are just steady and consistent with it. And the only limit in this is the limit we place on ourselves. And so we can only dream as far as we can see. And so if you're like, I don't know what's next, well then lean on my story, lean on Megan's story, lean into the community. And sometimes it's like, gosh, right now I'm helping 2 people, and I would love to be able to help 10 and make $1,000. That will rock my world. Okay, let's go after it. And then you're there and you're like, okay, I did that. What if I doubled it? And so sometimes the dreams start small, but just start dreaming, because there is power in casting vision for yourself. And any how you have without a why, it's pointless. We all need that dream. We need that vision casted. We need that propelling force that's driving us forward, that no matter what comes against us, if our driver is stronger and our why is bigger, that we will keep going. And so as you're thinking about 2020, don't dream out of a place of lack. Dream out of a place of an abundance of, okay, this time next year, what do I want? Where do I want my business to be? Where do I want my health to be, my finances to be, my life to be? What choices do I want to be able to have? I was talking to a coach who's not going to see her family, and I said, well, what if this time next year you had so much income that you could fly all your kids, no matter where they were, to come see you, and then you wouldn't miss Christmas? It's like dream big and take those limits off. And then as you're dreaming big, then you start breaking it down into your goal, into your plan, because a goal without a plan, it's just a wish. And so you can be the biggest dreamer, but if you're not backing it with action, then okay, have fun dreaming. But we want to help you take your dreams and lay it on top of our system and our structure and be able to start moving that ball forward so that you can get the wins under your belt and you can really start to create and write your story. Because I think there's nothing more empowering than feeling like you have options. When we don't feel like we have options and we feel like we have to live status quo, that can be a very hard place to be in. But this right here is a way to break that mold for yourself. And you get to be the rock. You get to be the driver, the one in the middle that gets to be the one opening the doors. And so I just want to leave you with a really simple kind of plan, if you want to call it, of just some things you can think about over the next couple weeks as you're taking this dream that you're making after reflecting and assessing and creating a strategy for yourself. Sometimes you talk about goals over the course of 30 days. I want to encourage you to dream and then set some quarterly goals for yourself. I think it's really neat to have quarterly goals because it's just it's good to have that 90-day vision. And then from there, so you're going to figure out what you want over the next 90 days. And then you're going to figure out when. So the when is 90 days, March 31st. So by March 31st, this is where I want to be in my business. This is what rank, this is what volume, this is what income, this is where I want to be. And then you're going to write out your why. And with your why, go so deep, because the deeper you go with the why, the more those bubbles of conviction and passion will rise up in you. And that's what you want. It's that conviction and that passion that will drive this forward. And so figure out your what, and then your when, and then your why, and then write out the who. For me, this is who is it for? So my goals are for me, they're for my kids, they're for my family. One of my dreams is to start a nonprofit because I want to do more than just help people get healthy. I want to actually take my heart for impact and bring it to the community. And so the for, it's for our neighbors, for our community, for my grandkids that one day will be here. And then it's who is it with? So who are those important players that you need around you to make it happen? It might be a spouse and having a spouse's support. It might be a babysitter when your kids are home so that you can be consistent with your work. And it might be a gardener so that you're not spending 2 hours on a Saturday, spending that time, but instead you're leveraging your time in a wiser way. It could be the team, your team with coaching. And then the how. So this obviously is going to be the action. How are you going to reach this goal? You can write out your bigger, month over month hows, like I need to have 10 clients. So how are you going to find your 10 clients? What are you going to do week over week, day over day? How are you going to track that progress? How many health assessments do you need? How many conversations, right? So you're taking a bigger thing and you're breaking it down into those little micro steps. And then my favorite one is the sacrifices under the how. What sacrifices do you need to make so that you can reach this goal that you have? Because I know for me, when I envision myself living in that place of some of these goals I have, I'm not operating out of insecurity. I'm not operating out of fear. I'm not letting lies control my thinking. I'm standing on truth. I'm standing in confidence. And so I have to be willing to let go of those things so that I can become who I need to be to walk into the goals, because goals are not for getting, they're for growing. And it's really important to think about that. So those are, just some things to really think about. And I would encourage you to write those out, and if you're new to coaching, then awesome, dream big. Maybe your dream is 5 people, and that's amazing, because those are 5 people that weren't healthy that get to be healthy because you're choosing to rise up and press in and bring the most out of this opportunity. And something of all of this is that I've really seen is that the win is the action. And in those moments where I feel discouraged, like, where are the people? I want to help my next person. I find that if I just get into action, if I just walk out of my house and look for someone to say hi to at Target, I go to the park and I look for a mom to just put a smile on her face. If I just get into action, if I start posting and do a live and start some conversations, that emotion breaks down. And so the action is the win. The higher the action, the more the outcome. It's like you reap what you sow. And so what do you want to reap? Then that's what you need to sow. You work yourself backwards. And imperfect action is better than no action. You don't feel like you have to have it all together. You just need to get out and love the people, and the people will be there to help. So, Megan, I'm taking it back to you.
All right, let's go.
That was awesome. Would love to hear from everybody if there was something that stood out to you.
Your legs, survey set.
You can hear somebody's TV, I think. That was awesome, though. And that's where I just want to kind of leave you. We're going to honor the time for this training. We're always going to keep it kind of right at that 30-minute mark. But this can be the craziest time for a lot of people. Our church is right now even going through a series called Stress.
Merry Stressmas.
Yeah. And how many can relate with that? And that's where there's a lot of things also that I was thinking are contagious right now. Like there's a lot of illnesses and sicknesses and things, but we have the opportunity to let calm be contagious. Because obviously anxiety can be very contagious, that kind of energy. You can put other people in that. But I choose to make calm contagious, and I choose to make health contagious in this season. And so just really staying focused on what you can do to show up well. And I want you to all think of this, even when you're thinking of your social media pages, when you're interacting with people, you might be the only one actually contending and going after health and well-being in this season. Right? And if you even think of that, for many of you, you're the only picture or window into health or into Optavia for many of your friend groups. They're seeing it only through your eyes. So what are you showing and how are you representing this what are you going to let them see as what's possible? Because that's where this can be usually a season where it can reveal like who's maybe been like weight loss or diet focused and who continues to grow and thrive because they're focused on their health and well-being and the healthy relationships and the calm and all those other factors. And so you really can let that, again, be what is represented and to show people what is possible. I always try to think of that when people are visiting my social media page or when they just engage with me, like how are our interactions going and what am I showing them that's possible through a healthy body, healthy mind, and healthy finances, because they all go hand in hand. And I usually even try to think of like, what is a problem that Optavia has solved for me that one could probably be solved for other people? And so I try to even really represent that, or even other clients when they are sharing things of a victory that they had that maybe I had never even experienced. Like the seatbelt center, like I never experienced having to go through that, or not being able to fit on a ride, or not being able to put a regular sized towel around them, not being able to shop in a regular store, having, lots of debt or different, not being able to buy Christmas presents, like all these different things that for many of us that have been coaching any length of time, or have just been, if you're just kind of even starting with coaching, but you've been on your health journey, like what has been a problem that has been solved that you can share that will inspire other people to see, again, what is possible. The other thing that I want to leave you with is with coaching, and especially in the season, like the one that is the most flexible stands the most chance of success. So I just learned to even kind of embrace like the fun of like, I felt like coaching started to become like a wild goose chase, but it was like embrace some of the fun and have like this excitement, anticipation each day of like, who is it going to be? Like, who's ready? Who's going to say yes to coaching, or who's going to say yes to getting healthy? Who can I engage with? And it just became this fun, like anticipation of like, I don't know if it's going to be this person, but I'm sure going to start that conversation and just see where it leads and see where it goes. So just, again, always bringing your fun and your lightheartedness and showing your personality through this. Another big thing is I always started to follow the lead of great leaders. And so find some other, like, if you haven't yet, like follow Amy on Facebook, follow me, follow my coach, Becca. Follow some other leaders that maybe you've heard on some of the leadership calls even. You don't have to friend them necessarily. You can just follow them on Facebook and see how are they posturing things. Like, how do they make it look like this isn't weight loss, this is about improving lives? Because the longer you're in this, that's what you really start to understand is this is not a weight loss company. We're a personal development company that has a weight loss component to it, but we're looking to enhance the quality of people's lives, to improve that quality and change things. I love some of the things that Amy was saying too about like, just start to build your habit of trying, because that is always the win of just, I was far from perfect in so many things. I just got really good at trying, and it started to come over time the more I just leaned into that. Something that helped me too is, as we're talking about like all those amazing questions that Amy laid out for you, and when you start to think about your future, many of us, when we have great like vivid visualization. So one of our core habits, even as coaches, right, is lead from the future, act in the now. I didn't always know how to do that, but once I got really clear on my vivid visualization, what I learned to do was kind of extract that energy of the excitement that I knew was coming as I started to create that. And it helped me to target and what is necessary now. What are the actions that are going to start leading me to that path? Because it's really, if you even kind of think of it, it's like be, do, have, like, and it's on that repeat cycle of like, the more that I get to show up in this way, the more it's leading me to do these actions, to have these things that I'm visualizing, that I'm seeing for myself and for others. And so I just got really good at like continually staying in that habit where it's like, as I've reached one milestone, or as I've reached one peak, or as I've reached one big goal, I continually set the bigger standard for myself to grow to that next level of competency, that next level of getting outside of myself even to help other people. Because that's the fun thing, is where Brandon and I and Amy and like, we're all at that point where it's like, we want for nothing. Like we have so many of our needs met, and you get to get outside of yourself and start thinking about others fully. Like, what can I do for others? And that's just a really fun place to be. The other big thing I want to just leave you with very quickly is
30 seconds.
A why defender. A why defender for yourself. Like so many of us too, when we start coaching, like we can get crystal clear on like what somebody's why is for getting healthy. But for whatever reason, sometimes when somebody starts coaching with us, we get weird about it. And we need to know, one, what is your client's why, and what is, if you're sponsoring and helping some other people come into coaching to further this mission to help more people, what are those coaches' whys too? And that is our role right now, especially in the season where there's a lot of temptations and a lot of things that can derail us, whether it's our time or capacity or energy. And so it's like continually help them like defend their why when maybe they're losing sight of it or losing focus of it. And don't be afraid to say like, is this still important to you? Like, do you still want to go after this? This is what I'm here for, is to help you and to lean into that and help you create it.
Very good.
I think we're right at the half hour mark too. So we want to, again, honor your time. So we're going to always keep these to around that 30-minute mark. And then we'll just continue to post things in the team page too, with whether it be lives or other helpful things. If there's something specific that you would like to learn about, never hesitate to let us know, because we are here to serve and assist you guys in creating your dreams and your goals. But thanks again. Thanks, Vanessa. Thanks, Amy, so much. That was stellar. And hopefully this brought some great value and encouragement. And we're just excited to help you guys close out this year, close out this decade, and start the next one really strong.